Now we get to York, the final day of the Dante meeting, 2:20. We've got the listed Marygate Fillies for 2-year-olds. Formidable Kit and Giselle's Angel are out. That still leaves us with 13. And the betting for this Langleys Solicitors British EBF Marygate Fillies Stakes. Neola is 9-2 joint favourite with Michael Bell's Main Desire. Kentish Waltz at 6-1 with Maggie's Angel. It's 9-1, bar those.
Owen O'Neill is back over in these shores, and he's back over with Kentish Waltz in our opening contest. A daughter of Dandyman who made a winning start to her career at Shanty. Welcome back. Good to be back.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's great to be here. Yeah, the last winner I had here was, I think, the Champagne Stakes right. 10 years ago. So
chance for winning the Marygate Stakes?
Look, she's a nice filly. She's been winging along since February. We expected her to run well when she ran. It was a big field of unraced 2-year-olds, but she won very well.
The form of that's worked out.
It has, yeah. 5 winners come out of the race. So, yeah, you know, look, if you don't buy a ticket, you can't win the raffle. So that's why we're here, see how good she is, and if she's good enough, she'll go on to better things. You know?
Stall of 14.
Oh, 14's grand, yeah, it's perfect. We're on our, we can be on this side of where I think the better ground is when we walked it earlier. So we'll see.
Wish you well.
Thank you.
Yeah, the pain for me is going to be over fairly quickly in this race, because I really liked this filly Main Desire of Michael Bell's, a stable ring form, and a second here yesterday and a winner and a second at Newmarket, I think, last night. But I was impressed with her. She's 4-1 in a wide open Marygate stakes, always been battling out for favouritism with the Mick Shannon filly, who improved no end on her first run, Neola, last time out. With Richard Fye, unsurprisingly, he's got an unbeaten Maggie's Angel, who was 2-1 favourite on her debut, won well. That one's third favourite, joint with Kentish Waltz. Owen O'Neill, no stranger to having 2-year-old winners a few years ago before he went to France. So they're the principal four, but I just must put in a final word for Faithful Promise. I don't think he can win from stall 1, but it came up against horse that was backed off the boards last time up at Musselburgh and beat it quite convincingly, so it seems to be improving a lot with each run. This will be a 4th run, so got plenty of experience. But Main Desire for me, seriously impressive at Nottingham. I thought be interesting what the guys thought about her in the paddock and going down.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. The filly in shot is Daddy's Girl. But just to touch on Main Desire, wore a hood in the prelims. Didn't do that at Nottingham last time, but Michael Bell had a quick chat with him. Just said he thought coming up here with a slightly different atmosphere, Dante meeting, just kept keeping a lid on her, kept a hood on her in the paddock. That has been whipped off. Neola was a touch lively when Graham Lee got on toes, went up onto her toes a little bit, and Get Even was probably the liveliest in the prelims, having a good old buck and a kick, and Jamie Spencer had his work cut out just keeping her calm. She's gone down to the start. What did you make of the Mark?
It's an intriguing race, isn't it? It's all about potential at this stage. Time will tell how good a race is, but the fact that 9 of the 13 are already winners, but with the exception of Get Even, who was second in soft ground in France over 4.5 furlong, every other runner in the race has either only raced on the all-weather, good or fast ground. So we'll see how they get on in the different conditions.
Absolutely. Main Desire and Neola are 2 fillies that know Nottingham pretty well. Main Desire broke the track record there last night. She looked very good that day, albeit on different ground to which she faces today.
She made a big impression. She was well back beforehand, 9-2 into 7-2, travelled strongly, put the race to bed pretty sharpish, and won by a length and a quarter. I think immediately afterwards Michael Bell was talking in terms of Royal Ascot, comes here en route. And you look at the pedigree, she's a filly by High Chaparral. There is hope in the pedigree she'll handle the conditions. A half-sister, Magical Effect, won on good to soft, but she's had 1 run in her life. That was on good to firm ground. We'll see how she gets in these conditions. But in terms of impression, you couldn't knock Nottingham at all.
Absolutely. As with the betting, the 2 fillies towards the top of the time form ratings are Main Desire and Neola, who has had a couple of starts at Nottingham. She's having her 3rd run here.
Yeah, she was 5th on debut. Big step forward next time out. She absolutely bolted up at the same track. That was on good ground, won by 7 lengths. And there's definite hope in her pedigree. She's by Fox Wedge, who's the same sire as Battered, who won here early in the week. But the dam, FEB, funny enough, she was 3rd in this race 5 years ago, and she was a proven soft, heavy ground performer. So you'd be pretty optimistic she'll handle the conditions. Whether stall 2 is a good draw, time will tell. But again, she made a good impression at Nottingham.
Faithful Promise is making her way forward. Next in the betting, though, is Kentish Waltz for Owen O'Neill. I thought she, of all of them, had a bit of scope about her in the prelims.
Yeah, and real unknown quantity. You just wouldn't know how strong the form was. The third has been second since she won on debut at Shanty. She won by 2 lengths. She was a big price that day, but she won well, and she's straight into listed grade.
And Maggie's Angels, another one that won on debut. She's having her second start here, again on different ground. That was good to firm when she won on debut.
Yeah, trained by Richard Fahey, who's won this twice in the last 6 years. She beat a couple of opponents at Ripon on debut, including Mount Victoria. Won really well, but that was good to firm ground.
He has. Richard Fahey won this in 2011 and indeed won it last year with Vona. As they're loading up pretty quickly, any others you really wanted to talk about?
Well, Blessed Empress, she won on debut at Shanty first time out. At Chelmsford first time out. Faithful Promise, as you say, won at Musselburgh last time out. Showed a lot of speed to beat a really well fancied horse, Richard Fahey.
That's it. Let's go to the commentary box. Here's Mike Catamol.
Lined up and set to go, just rearing up Dolly Dagger. Oh, looks as though she's lost her jockey, so they won't be letting them go just yet. Rob Hornby has just hopped off or got thrown off there. He's getting back on again now. Dolly Dagger. She just reared up. They're ready to go now, I think. Stand by. And they're off. Away they go. Dolly Dagger jumped more or less on terms. Shea Bellow is a little bit slow away for the Langleys Solicitors British EBF Marygate Fillies Stakes. Faithful Promise on the far side showing up well. Mount Victoria's White Face together with Neola, that group of 3 on the far side. Mistress of Venice in the white jacket with Kentish Waltz and Main Desire handy with Izzy Bizu on the near side. And they're followed through then by Maggie's Angel racing alongside Blessed Empress. Just tucked in behind them then is Get Even. Down the centre, pushed along now is Daddy's Girl together with Dolly Dagger and then Shea Bella as they race on now towards and inside the final quarter mile. On the near side, Mistress of Venice, Kentish Waltz is trying to get on terms. Here comes Main Desire and Danny Tubbo in the grey jacket. Down the centre, Neola and Graham Lee. Probably just in front though, it's very tight. Neola on the far side, Main Desire, Mistress of Venice on the near side as they race inside the final 50 yards. Neola down the centre, on the near side, Main Desire beginning to get up, and Main Desire got there from Neola. Mistress of Venice was back in 3rd place, and they were followed home by Maggie's Angel and Daddy's Girl.
Main Desire has won this, following up her track record win at Nottingham last time. That was on quick ground. This very different here, but she seems to have handled it. And she has won 4-1 joint favourite Main Desire, ridden by Danny Tudhope, trained by Michael Bell in the colours of Clipper Logistics. Second was Neola, who raced in a different part of the track, started off in the middle of the track and stayed there as well. Graham Lee, the rider for Mick Shannon. And third, Mistress of Venice, who also came down this stand side. Luke Morris for James Given. Mark, it got this about right, didn't it, Mark?
Yeah, it's been a good 24 hours, hasn't it, for Clipper Logistics. Listed winner yesterday with Fashion Queen, another listed winner with Main Desire, who's maintained her unbeaten record. It looked for the majority of the race as though Neola, who raced up the centre, was going to fend everything off. But she just appeared to get lonely, didn't she? She's wandered around, she's in the middle of the track, and she's just got outstayed inside that final 100 yards.
As we take it back, as we see the finish here, and Main Desire just getting on top, we'll see that towards the centre, without any filly going with her, keeping her company, she stuck on well, but Main Desire had something to aim at for that little bit longer. We get a good shot of that here. Yeah, she just looks a really exciting prospect, and now she's proved herself on fast ground, slow ground. You know, Queen Mary, you would imagine, will be the target. Stiffer 5 at Ascot, I would have thought would suit her even more. You'd be surprised if she didn't get 6 in time. She has proved herself versatile, and just some quotes coming in for the Queen Mary here. You know, with Betfair, right, they go 6-1 Main Desire, and Paddy Power 5-1 first show. Right, Michael Bell, who has trained this winner, is with Niall Hannity.
Yeah, he certainly is, and I say that was pretty easy watching. She was sort of cantering halfway down, wasn't she?
Well, she's gone really well at home since Nottingham. In fact, prior to Nottingham, she's just looked like a sort of natural from day one, and she's a rocket.
And she's by High Chaparral, so would it give you a bit of confidence with different ground compared to Nottingham?
Well, she worked on the water gallop at Newmarket and worked very nicely, so we were worried about the ground, but I talked to Danny and see she'd probably cope with it. I think she'd be better. Most horses are better on a faster ground, aren't they?
Probably get a bit better ground than the Queen Mary. Would that be the obvious target?
That or the Albany. So I'll discuss with Steve. I'll see what Danny says, whether he wants to stick at 5 or go to 6. My gut feel is the Queen Mary.
Well done.
Thanks, Noel.
No. She quickly done well at the end.
Yeah, well done to Michael Bell. He nominates the Queen Mary as the intended target and says, well, that she'll probably be better on quicker ground. But as he says, most of them are. And the fact that she broke the track record at Nottingham suggests that she's always going to be better on quicker ground. But she's travelled well and she's handled this.
I was going to say, you wouldn't know that, would you, watching the way she's gone through this race? She's travelled almost as well as she did at Nottingham the last time out. And Daddy Tudor, he realises the action's happening far side with Mick Shannon's filly, who's run really well. Neola, you know, she probably would have won most Marygates, but I think she's bumped into an above average one today.
Keeping an eye out for any hard luck stories in behind. Kentish Waltz was a bit shorter room at the business end. Perhaps she's just been outpaced towards the finish there. She is one that seems to have a bit of scope as far as these fillies went, and you could see she was really out-sprinted towards the end of the race.
Yeah, she just kept on, didn't she, at the one pace as opposed to quick. And the other two fillies who tried to go with Neola, they paid the penalty, didn't they? But ultimately, they are well beaten. Both Mount Victoria and Faithful Promise. They tried to go with Mick Shannon's filly, but unable to do so. But no, you'd be optimistic about for the future. Certainly the winner, and definitely the second, who's got blistering pace.
We've heard from the winning trainer. We can hear from the winning jockey now, who's with Niall Hannity.
Yeah, certainly am, and this third time he's walking back in from the winner's enclosure. You rode her at Nottingham, different conditions, but again, she's just very quick.
Yeah, very different conditions, you know. She's very quick filly. A bit concerned about the ground today, but she handled the ground fine. Just it wasn't ideal, really.
What is the ground?
Well, it's slow. It's soft, you know, good to soft in places. A bit tacky, you know, very holding ground, but yeah.
She's very quick. She's very talented.
She is, yeah, and you know, they're on about going to Royal Ascot now. You know, the Queen Mary possibly. So.
You have an excellent few days, and you're not done yet. Clever Cookie in the big in the Yorkshire Cup.
Yeah, I got some nice race to come. Yeah, Clever Cookie obviously won that race last year, and different conditions to last year's race, but he should go on it fine, you know. So it's a tougher race, I think, this year, but it's nice to have him back here, I think.
He's got an informed jockey on.
Yeah, we're doing all right. Thanks.
He's doing more than all right at the moment, Danny Tudhope. He's just won on Main Desire 4-1. She looks an absolute pro, and we'll look forward to seeing her at Royal Ascot, whether it be the Queen Mary or the Albany. She's won the Marygate, listed at 4-1, joint favourite. Neola second, the other joint favourite. Mistress of Venice third at 16-1. 13 ran. And Main Desire's time. And our second race from York is this listed fillies event, registered as the Michael Seeley Memorial. 6 of them run. Numbers 1, Bailey Showgirl, and 6, Princess de Lune, are out. Betting with Dave.
We've got 3 really lovely fillies who come here on after winning maidens on trials week at Newbury and Newmarket, but by far the best looking in the paddock to me when I had a quick look in the pre-parade was the favourite Dancing Breeze, John Goslin's. It's 9-4 now. It has been 5-2. It's always been a clear favourite and very well backed. The other 2 similar profiles are fairly weak in the betting, and clearly the horse that is expected to run close is the really progressive filly last year of William Haggis's On Her Toes. That's an 11-4. It's not been any shorter than 11-4, but it's absolutely rock solid. They're the 2 that are being backed. Sibilance, unbeaten on the all-weather for Rafe Beckett. That's a 4-1, 9-2 chance. And Tomaris, Roger Varian, I think is going to have a winner later on the card. Tomaris, that's a 5-1 chance. But Dancing Breeze, the bookmakers did briefly go 5-2, but it's rock solid at 9-4 now.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, Dancing Breeze is the favourite here at 9-4. I was quite taken with her in the paddock, I must admit. She doesn't look a filly that's crying out for a great deal further, I didn't think necessarily. Interesting that they said they were tempted to start her over 10, but in the end they started her last time at Newmarket over this trip, a race which they won with Swiss Range before she went on to run in the Pretty Polly. They clearly hold her in some sort of regard, this filly.
Yeah, they do. She's got an entry in the Coronation Stakes as well. She made a good impression on debut. She went off 15-2. I think there was a bit of substance to that race. The second, Natavia's held in high regard of Roger Charlton's. The 4th home that day was Glittering Jewel, who ran well against Murray last Friday night at Ascot. And Dancing Breeze, she came out on top by half a length. Good to firm ground that day. She's a full sister to Raz Mayer, who was a soft ground winner for Dermot Weld. And I sent a text to the owner last night, Craig Bennett, and he said John Goslin's optimistic she'll handle the softer conditions. So I think there's a bit of confidence behind the chance here. She's rated 87. We don't know how good she could be, but she won well on debut at Newmarket.
Yeah, she certainly did. Looked good winning at the Craven meeting. That was 30 days ago. Dancing Breeze. Next in the betting is On Her Toes. There are no question marks about the ground for her because she has form on this type of ground, but there are potential question marks about the trip. She's up a furlong in trip from last time.
Yeah, it depends which side of the pedigree. She's a filly by Kodiak, but the dam won over a mile and a quarter, so there is hope that she'll stay. She's rated 97. She's the filly with the most experience going into the race. As you say, she's got a soft ground win against her name. Ended a season with a third in the Sweet Solera, so she's a good 2-year-old. It's a case of whether she'll be equally as good or if not better as a 3-year-old. I don't think she'd have the same potential possibly as something like Dancing Breeze, but at least she's got the form in the book.
Yeah, that Sweet Solera form not bad. Urban Fox was fourth that day, of course. Come out and run a couple of good races this year, Urban Fox. She's been pretty consistent throughout her career, and this filly, as we say, we know she handles the ground, and she does have that sort of mixed bag pedigree-wise, doesn't she? As you said, Dan won over a little bit further than this, but she's assisted to a couple of sprint winners as well. What's your initial gauge on what this trip will do to her, whether she'll get it or not?
I think she may well get it, but I don't think she'll necessarily improve for going that sort of distance. You know, I'm not saying she was an out-and-out 2-year-old, but I'm not convinced she'll have the same potential as one or two of these more lightly raced horses. You know, she's taking on 2 maidens winners from the Craven meeting, 1 winner of the Bridget Maiden Filly Stakes at Newbury first time out, but at least she's got experience, hasn't she? She's got form in the book.
Yeah, absolutely. Sibilance is 2 from 2, but both of those runs came on the all-weather at Kempton over 6 furlongs and a mile respectively, so we know she gets the trip, but this is her first start on the turf.
Yeah, and she's out of a Linamix mare, but the dam was a dual winner for John Dunlop on good to firm ground. She's by Bated Breath. As we all know, Bated Breath was a better horse on top of the ground, so I think she has got that to prove, but she's unbeaten, 2 from 2. She's successfully stepped up from 6 to a mile. She won't have an issue with the trip.
Roger Berrin had a good Craven meeting, had a couple of winners there, and one of them was with this filly Tamiris, who had come out of that Deban maiden, and that proved to be very good form. Of course, Deban won at the Craven meeting herself. She's gone on to run really good race in the 1,000 guineas itself, and Tamiris looked good when winning last time. She was a bit funny. She flashed her tail a bit. She was a touch green throughout the race, but she looked a good filly, Tamiris, when winning that. What about her chances here on this ground? It's a question mark.
Yeah, that's the big question mark. But I thought she was really impressive at Newmarket. I thought the way she went through the race, she put it to bed fairly quickly. Form hasn't worked out that well. The second's been 5th since, the third has been beaten around Chelmsford. But having said that, she was well on top at the finish. I don't think she'll have a problem with the ground. She's by Invincible Spirit, so there'll be a big question mark there. But the dam did win on good to yielding ground for Aidan O'Brien, totally devoted.
And we talked about Classical Times' chances earlier on in the show with Paul Mulrennan. She's up a couple of furlongs in trip, and this is softer ground. But Paul said he got off last time and said a bit further shouldn't be a problem.
No, I think the triple suit, I don't think that would necessarily beat her. But again, there'll be doubt about the ground. Sunday Times the dam. She won the Sceptre Stakes, second in the Cheveley Patch. She was definitely a better filly on top of the ground. There is a bit of hope in the family. Welsh Emperor's in the family. Tom Tate's 7 furlong horse, and he loves soft ground. But if this filly takes after the dam, there could be an issue.
And the filly in shot is Mully Marty. Jim Crowley on top. The stall handler's just giving a good old nudge forward to get Mully Marty into stall number 7. She was a winner on debut over 7 furlongs.
Yeah, she won one of the divisions of the Bridget Maiden at Newbury, 7 furlongs up in trip, different ground. Again, she's by Invincible Spirit, so there's a doubt, but at least she's out of a pivotal mare. So quite a bunch finish, wasn't it, at Newbury?
Yeah.
I would have thought she would need to step up a fair bit on that.
And what about the pace in this race? Classical Times is an obvious one, who went forward last time and is stepping up in trip. Can you see any others potentially? And do you think they'll ride Classical Times a bit different here with an eye on getting this trip?
Yeah, I suspect they will do, because you're going 6 furlongs up to a mile. I think it was a case of keeping it simple at Redcar. Other possible pace, Dancing Breeze was fairly handy at Newmarket, but whether she'll lead is a different matter. And Mully Marty was also, she led at Newbury, but she's also up in trip. So I've given you a long-winded answer there, Tom. I'm not convinced.
It's allowed. Just on the ground, jockeys pretty much saying after the first race, yes, it's soft, but they are getting through it. The last one in is the favourite Dancing Breeze. Let's get up to join Mike Cattermole ahead of the second race.
Thank you, Tom. So just Sibilance to make up the line, and they're set and off and racing. Nice even break too, as they go over a mile here for the Longines Irish Champions Weekend Fillies Stakes, the Michael Seeley Memorial Stakes race. Pulling quite hard, Sibilance. She's in front though, in this early stage. Classical Times on the inside also taking a little bit of a hold. Relaxing behind in third place then is On Her Toes, as rushing up on the outside, the free-running Dancing Breeze taking on Sibilance, and they seem to be doing quite a lot in front, these two, as they go on by a couple of lengths then for On Her Toes and Classical Times. Tamaris racing behind in fifth has settled well, and Mully Matty at the back of the field. Jim Crowley's mount is racing quite relaxed at this stage and going down towards the entrance to the home straight. So they're approaching the halfway point as they go towards the 4 furlong marker, and Sibilance in the McAlpine colours on the inside, taken on by Dancing Breeze, the favourite in the orange sleeves. On the near side, On Her Toes getting a little bit closer, the white face of Classical Times. Between horses then, Tamaris is getting into it quite stylishly as well. Will need a little bit of luck in running perhaps from at that point. And Mully Matty on the outside is easing into contention quite impressively as well. So an open looking race before, it looks even more open now as they leave the 2 furlong pole behind them. But Sibilance travels strongly to the front now as they race up towards the final furlong. Tamaris now chasing hard and picking up well on the outside, and On Her Toes, having been caught flat-footed, is really staying on again now. Inside the final furlong they run. Tamaris, On Her Toes on the outside, is lunging late. Tamaris needs the line. All out Tamaris, but she'll hang on and wins it. Tamaris the winner from On Her Toes. Sibilance was back in third place and Classical Times in fourth.
Tamaris has won this, followed up that good win at the Craven meeting last time. We highlighted the Deban form prior to that, which she had from her debut, and she went out and she won well at Newmarket last time, and she's followed up here in pretty nice style. She can always be picked out travelling well under Andrea Azzeni, just in behind the front 3, and then when pulled out she showed a good turn of foot to just sprint clear of these other fillies. She was being closed down a touch by On Her Toes at the end, who just took a while to find a bit of room and find daylight. When she did, she has kept on. You could probably say she's got this mile, but she's been no match for this winner, Mark.
No, she almost ranged up, didn't she, inside that final half of the film, but I think the winner's just found a bit more. But again, she's gone through the race really well as the winner, as she did at Newmarket. Completely different conditions for her today, but that hasn't been an issue. Just for a split second, you just wonder whether On Her Toes might wear her down, but as I say, I think she just found a bit more later on. You've also got the option of the Sandringham, haven't you? Yeah. She's run 3 times now, so either or, she's an exciting filly. And a bit like the Marygate winner, she's now proved herself on much slower ground compared to her previous win on fast ground.
I might actually be doing On Her Toes a slight disservice saying that she's flattened out late on. She's actually shaped like a filly who has got outpaced. She was under the pump earlier than most of these, and then she has stayed on when finding daylight quite nicely. But I still suspect that the winner, Tamaris, has won this a shade cosy.
Yeah, I think that just the way she's gone through the race, and then just found that bit extra later on when she was challenged by William Haggas's filly.
Yeah, Roger Varian had said before the race, well, the easy ground is a question mark, but no longer is a question mark. She's proved herself to be versatile, and I suppose that's the point we're saying a lot this week. When we see these good horses, these good fillies winning races, good horses can go on any ground, can't
they? Yeah, they can. It was quick at the Craven meeting first time out. She's a filly by invincible spirit, and I suppose that provokes the doubt, doesn't it, beforehand? But as I mentioned, the Dam Totally Devoted was a good to yielding winner for Aidan O'Brien. So yeah, just really impressed. We've had 2 fillies races now, and both winners look well above average.
That was quite a smart little performance from Tamaris and Andrea Azzeni on top. And what about the run of Sibilance? She's been up there throughout. Her efforts just petered out towards the end, but she has stuck on for third.
Yeah, I don't think any excuses. She set the tempo, didn't she? The trip wasn't a problem. She'd won over this distance last time out. She's rated 93. She's just bumped into 2 better fillies on the day off level weights.
She has. That is the winner, Tamaris, who has followed up her win at the Craven meeting. Let's get the SPs with David.
Yeah, I think she was definitely holding On Her Toes at the line there. She's got a Coronation Stakes entry. That would be another step forward, but she's going the right way. Tamaris 5-1 wins for Andrea Azzeni and Roger Varian. On Her Toes second at 5-2. And the winning time of Tamaris was for the feature, the Betway Yorkshire Cup. Over £93,000 first prize, an all 8 run. And Dartmouth is favoured at 3-1. Muntaha at 9-2. 5-1 Endless Time. 6 is Marmello. Crimean Tartar is at 7-1 with Simple Verse. 8-1 Clever Cookie. 33 is the returning High Jinx.
The feature on day 3 here at York is the Betway Yorkshire Cup, and we're nearly set. Jockey's about to come out very shortly indeed. If we can pick up a few of the horses, Muntaha is going to be the first one we'll see coming into shot very shortly indeed. He's got fitness on his side. Funny race at Newbury he won, got headed and battled back. We're going to pick him up the grey coming into shot. Champion jockey Jim Crowley once again on board. So he showed a really good determination to get back up. Slight question marks regarding ground, but as we whiz through a few of these, similar comments will apply. Directly behind is the filly, one of 2 fillies in the race. This is Endless Times. We haven't seen her since last October when she's placed in Group 1 company. And despite being off the track for 208 days, you'll see with that shot she's very fit and ready to go. William Buick riding for Charlie Appleby. Next one is going to be the outsider, High Jinx. He's been off the track for 747 days. He will have no qualms with the ground. Formerly trained by James Fanshawe, he will like the ground. Interesting to see how he goes. Marmello directly behind number 5 goes here for Hughie Morrison. Looks to give Andrea Azzini a quick fire double. Then we drop 2 horses back. We'll pick up number 2, Crimson Tartar, for Hugo Palmer. And then comes Simple Verse, number 7, winner of the St. Leger a couple of years ago in controversial circumstances. And we'll end with number 1, if we can, Clever Cookie, winner of the race 12 months ago, albeit he did have a run under his belt that day. He looks well, but he's 9 years of age. It could be a big ask, but he will like the ground.
Bookmakers were keen to let us know that this Dartmouth had been backed from 9-2 into 3-1 this morning, but the fact that the race was over broke in the price-wise box, and some bookmakers were already 7-2, suggests to me that there wasn't really a move. It just got trimmed up to bring the market in line and give the bookmakers some profit. But I can tell you now that out here there is definitely a significant gamble. It was 3-1 on all boards, 100-30 with some only a couple of minutes ago. It's gone 11-4 and 5-2 with Ladbrokes. 11-4 still with Hills on the rails, but the officers obviously have got liabilities for this, and punters coming in to back it. 5-2 is what I'm predicting. It might well go off, and as a result of that, everything else is either holding its price or drifting. I would say Endless Time is the one that's holding its price best. That's around a 5-1 chance. Some boards going 11-2. So everything else is a one-horse book, really. They've laid nothing for the local favourite Clever Cookie. That's 9-1. If bookmakers can get this Dartmouth beat, then it'll be back to the way it's been the last couple of days. Best back horses getting beat all over the place, but Dartmouth a real proper gamble now.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. Dartmouth then is 11-4 here, looking to give Sir Michael Stout his 5th win in this Betway Yorkshire Cup, and we haven't seen him for 215 days since he ran out at Canada at the Canadian International.
Yeah, he had a really good season last year. He started the season particularly well. He won the John Porter, he won the Ormond, and then he won the Hardwick. Certainly not disgracing the King George. You mentioned the Canadian International, so he brings a strong level of form here. On official figures, he's £4 clear. And the fact he won first time out last season tells us that he has no issue first time out. Slight doubt about the ground. He's coped with good to soft ground, but he's never raced unofficially soft.
And as we say, they are getting through it. It's not proving to be unbelievably testing out there. Would it worry you too much?
Well, you're just looking for reasons, aren't you, why he might get beaten, and that will be the only one, really, because he's got the class. The trip, I don't think, is a problem at all, and Ryan Rose gets extremely well with him. I think he's 4 wins from 5 rides, so everything going for him, bar the possibility about the ground.
Just confirming that Newmarket result. Zorro, the winner of the 320 at Newmarket. Muntaha is next in the betting, who is 9-2. He's a bit of a monkey in the prelims.
Yeah, he was. He certainly wasn't relaxed at all, was he? He was on his toes throughout. Now he's on track. Let's hope he relaxes during the race. But he can be quite headstrong. You remember the St. Leger towards the end of last season. He failed to settle early on that day. But he's come out this season, 2 runs. He's built on his run at Doncaster, where he finished 3rd in the Shield, and then he won the John Porter last time out, having Crimean Tartar back in 4th.
And the ground for him, he may be a son of Dan Silly, but it seems as though Connections, for all they've said they wouldn't want it sticky, they think he might have been a cut.
Yeah, pedigree. Dan Silly's out of a Lindy Mix mare, so you would be hopeful. And he's been 3rd twice on good to soft ground, including in the King Edward. At the same time, his very best runs have been on a quicker surface. So again, there is a minor doubt there.
Endless Time. She again got a little bit lively in the paddock when William Buick got the leg up. She's a unit, isn't she?
Yeah, she's really big and powerful. We both spoke to Charlie Appleby. Ironically, she's the lightest she's been for some time, hasn't she? But yeah, she's a really big, strong filly.
I think he said she's the lightest they've ever had her.
Yeah, well, that speaks for itself. But she certainly takes the eye, and she's got a good level of form. Won the Lancashire Oaks last season, second in a Vermeil. She's good, fresh. She handles soft ground. She has disappointed at York in the past, but that was on much quicker ground.
Charlie Appleby echoed those sentiments. He said, look, the ground was to blame that day when she last ran here. No worries about the course whatsoever. Marmello has just tightened up a little bit. Marmello was a winner when last seen in France.
That was over 1 mile and 7. Broke the course record. That was at Chantilly. Back in trip here. I suspect he will be the pace or one of the pace angles.
And we've got a ledger win here as well in the form of Simple Verse.
We have, yeah. Another filly in the field alongside Endless Time. She's rated 113. She won the May Hill last season. Sorry, the Park Hill, and ended the year with a good third over 2 miles at Ascot.
And the last horse to go in will be last year's winner, Clever Cookie for Peter Niven. Let's get up and join Mike.
Thanks, guys. And they're lined up and ready to go here. And they're off for the first cup race of the season. It's the Betway Yorkshire Cup over 1 mile and 3/4. And High Jinks on the comeback trail is sent into an early lead and goes up already by a good 2.5 lengths. Marmello in the yellow and blue colours racing in second place. Dartmouth and Ryan Moore just in front of Endless Time and Simple Verse. The two fillies are racing in 4th and 5th. Muntaha the Grey is next. Clever Cookie on the outside, and Crimean Tatar at the back of the field as they race away over the far side of the Naesmire with High Jinks and David Allen. 9 years young now, High Jinks, leading by about 5 lengths maybe as they continue across the far side and go towards the final mile and a quarter. They've done the first half mile in what looks to be a reasonable pace. High Jinks takes the field along. Marmello racing in second place. Endless Time on the outside then of Dartmouth in the Royal colours, who's close up in 4th. And he's tracked then on the outside by Muntaha. Simple Verse in the Qatar Racing colours is next, followed by Clever Cookie, the defending champion. And looking on still is Crimean Tatar as they race on towards the mile start over on the far side of the track, with High Jinks still comfortable in front, leading by about 4 lengths now. The Chantilly winner Marmello in second place. Endless Time, who was last seen running second in the French St Leger, is in third. Dartmouth is next. Muntaha follows him, and then Simple Verse, the St Leger winner of 2015, Clever Cookie and Crimean Tatar at the back of the field. So racing down now the side of the course, they're inside the final 3/4 of a mile now in the Betway Yorkshire Cup, and the order hasn't changed much at all. It's still High Jinks who has the initiative, but only leads now by about 2 lengths as Marmello closes up together with Endless Time on the outside. Dartmouth is poised behind them, followed by the grey Muntaha. Simple Verse on the inner, tucked away on the inside of Clever Cookie, and still looking on at the rear of the field, Crimean Tatar, who's the first to come off the bridle. It does get switched to the outside now by Jack Mitchell as High Jinks tries to wind up the gallop. They're racing down the centre of the Naesmire here in the home straight of the Betway Yorkshire Cup here. High Jinks the leader. Marmello a danger on the far side, travelling strongly. Endless Time is poised as well. Muntaha is under a drive now from Jim Crowley. Simple Verse is being popped a few questions as well on the inside. Dartmouth now needs to find a way out of a pocket and starts to stay on, and there's 4 in a line then as they race up inside the final furlong and a half, and it's Endless Time who comes storming through. High Jinks is trying to rally. He's run a mighty race. Simple Verse on the far side, just ducking left-handed there, Endless Time, and now there's almost 5. Dartmouth finishing off really strongly on the near side. High Jinks is rallying with Simple Verse on the far side. Dartmouth on the rail. What a thriller! To the line they go. It might have been Dartmouth from Simple Verse, but that will go to the judge. Incredibly exciting finish to the Yorkshire Cup. Back in third, Endless Time, and High Jinks game in 4th.
What a finish to the Betway Yorkshire Cup. They finished spread right across the track. Near side, right up the stands rail, was Dartmouth, who took a while to get rolling, but when he did, he's finished with a flourish. And far side, Simple Verse. And it looks from that as though Dartmouth has won this. We will get the official result very shortly, but it does look as though,
here we go, finish for first place. First, number 3, Dartmouth.
Dartmouth has won, and a huge cheer goes up
Second,
around
number
the
7.
Naysmire.
Third,
The 11 to
number
4
4,
favourite
and the
under
fourth
Ryan
horse,
Moore
number 8.
has won this for Sir Michael Stout, giving the trainer a 5th win in this.
So whether he's got away with the conditions at this sort of level, I don't know. But he's dug deep. He's showed a good attitude, and he's had no issues with the trip at all.
Yeah, he's proved he's got this extra 100 yards than he's ever been before. But quotes him for the Hardwick race. He knows all too well. 7s from 10s with Paddy Power, 8s from 12s with Betfair. It's at this point that you see Ryan Moore just make that decision just to go right. There was a gap to his left, but he seems to follow endless time through. Muntaha starts to come under pressure, gets that gap to his right, and that's the way he goes, and he comes over to the stand side round and sprints clear. Clever Cookie, he didn't seem to really pick up a better race this time round, and also different ground, but we know he handles it.
Yeah, we know he handles it. We just wonder, as he's getting older, does he want better ground now, doesn't he? He won the race on good to firm. His travel well, he just hasn't picked up. The winner took a while to pick up, but thankfully for him and his connections, he picked up in time, and then he stayed on really strong. He's a bit like, he's not too dissimilar to one of Sir Michael Stout's previous winners, Ask, is he? He stays well, but he's got the class and he's got the speed for shorter trips.
Yeah, he's proved himself over further than he's ever been before, but he's clearly not devoid of pace. But that is the winner then, Dartmouth. 5th win in the race for Sir Michael Stout. Ryan Moore, the winning jockey. Let's get the SPs.
Usually 11 to 4 favourite, a most popular winner of the Betway Yorkshire Cup. More Group 2 honours for the Queen's Dartmouth. Sir Michael Stout, the trainer. Ryan Moore, the jockey. Simple Verse, second at 13 to 2, beaten a neck. And High Jinks, a further neck back in third at 40 to 1.
The Betway Yorkshire Cup has went away at Dartmouth. Well done. It was a good training performance. Having ready in ground is probably a little bit softer than ideal.
Yeah, no, but he's an honest horse. He handles most things, and he's won on the all weathers. He's won on quick ground. The ground's not really an issue to him. He's a good moving horse, and he always gives his best. And I think that's his 4th Group win now. And he's rock solid. He always runs his race.
He had to be tough, didn't he? The way you were spread right across the track by himself.
Yeah, he's very tough. He could have done some help.
Ideal for the Hardwick. Well done.
Thank you.